This is Shockwave News Live. You can find me online at twitter.com/Shockwave News 1. You can also find me on shockwavenewslive.com and, of course, Spreaker.com/Shockwave News. Now, let's get right into the news. Like, subscribe, share. Let's go. Okay. I see a main story here at naturalnews.com. The headlines, as more countries emerge from the coronavirus lockdowns, concerns arise about a second wave of infections, Around the globe, nations are beginning to realize and relax their lockdowns following the initial peak of coronavirus or COVID-19 infections. While this is still happening, attention is now turning to how these nations can avoid a second wave of infections as social distancing is eased. Two of the hardest hit nations in the world, Spain and Italy, have begun to allow people outside to exercise for the first time in almost 2 months. Meanwhile, in the United States, several states are now allowing businesses to open. France is set to lift its confinement measures May 11th. The French Prime Minister, Edouard Philippe, said that there is a fine line between restrictions on movement and avoiding a new surge of the coronavirus infections. The risk of a second wave, which had already hit our fragile hospitals, would need us to reimpose confinement and waste the efforts and sacrifices we've already made. This is serious, Philippe said last week. Preparing for a second wave, the article goes on to say, social distancing measures have already been effective in flattening the curve of the new coronavirus infections, buying the healthcare systems much needed time to recover and regroup. However, this means that a smaller percentage of the populations are likely to have been infected by the virus and developed an immunity to it. So let me know what you think about that. Is there going to be a second wave? Probably. Did we handle this here in the United States as good as we could have? Probably not. Is there a lot of things we can learn from this lesson with COVID-19 or the coronavirus? Absolutely. There's a lot of things we could learn. We could learn how to manage and handle this better. And we have now learned a couple lessons. The WHO, who are only somewhat competent. I personally think they're incompetent as hell, but some people think they're somewhat competent. I don't care. We have varies of opinions around the world there. We've learned not to depend on China, and we have learned to bring our resources and start depending on things and products made in the USA. We have to bring our companies back, our manufacturing back to the USA. This is insanity. We rely on China for over 95% of all goods in the United States. Probably it's more like 98%, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I was reading the other day it was 95. So either 95 or 98% of everything's made in China. We need to bring manufacturing back. That's the first thing. Second thing is not depend on, the WHO and the CDC. There has to be a balance, and we have to keep our resources here and share our resources all throughout the United States and all throughout the world, unlike the WHO that sat on things until it spread, already became a pandemic. I was calling for it 2 or 3 months well in advance, and I said this was a pandemic. Nobody listened. Now they listen, and it's like, what the hell? Too late. Too bad. So sad. I'm sorry. Too late, unfortunately. And many people have died from this virus. So them are the lessons we have to bring away from here and learn not to do next time. And hopefully there'll never be a next time. This is Shockwave News Live. You can find me online at twitter.com/Shockwave News 1. And of course, Spreaker.com/Shockwave News, and of course, ShockwaveNews.com. This is Shockwave News, and take care of yourself. God bless, and I'm signing off.